This is Tom Doody, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you would type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Doody in a Google search for my site in an effort to learn Google search, specifically what was called Google Webmaster Tools, what is now called Google Search Console. I just went into a series of help screens, copied and pasted the text. I also got some text from a website that claimed to be everything you need to know about Google Search Console. Publish or unpublish a page set. Publishing page set instructions, data highlighter to make the data available to Google. The next time Google crawls the page, the structured data in your page will display on the structured data page. It might take some time for the data to appear in rich snippets. In the Google Knowledge Graph or in other Google products, if rich snippets aren't appearing on your site, see possible reasons why. Page sets with only one page are automatically published when you create them. You can publish page sets with multiple pages immediately or creating them, or you can wait until you are ready. Publish a page set with a view. Publish a page set with the page sets published page on the Webmaster Tools homepage. Click the site. On the dashboard, click Search Appearance. On Data Highlighter, click Data Highlighter. Click the name of page set. Click Publish. Unpublish a page set instructs Google to ignore the data extracted by Data Highlighter. And next time Google crawls your site, you can republish the page set later. Unpublish a page set. View the page set's publish page. On the Webmaster Tools homepage, click the site. On the dashboard, click Search Appearance. Click Data Highlighter. Click the name of the page set. Click Unpublish. About our stats and data. Search Console provides information and data about the sites that you have added to your account. You can use this data to improve the search engine's crawl and index your site's content. Available data. If data is missing or seems out of date, why doesn't Search Console data match Google Analytics data? Available data, crawl data, the crawl section provides information about potential problems Google may have encountered when crawling and indexing your site. Crawl errors list any pages on your site that Google was unable to access and why we couldn't crawl them. Addressing these issues can help ensure that all content on your site can be successfully crawled by search engines. Crawl stats, age lists, recent Google bot activity on your site. Blocked URLs shows on which pages on your site Google was prevented from crawling because of restrictions in your robot.txt file. Malware helps you identify any problems with hacking or malicious software on your site. Traffic data. The traffic section provides details about how users reach your site and how it appears to search engines and humans. Search queries list the top search queries for which your site appeared in search results, as well as queries for which users actually click through your site. Links to your site provides details about pages on your site linked from other sites. Internal links list URLs on your site that are linked from other URLs on the same site. One report provides insight into the effects on Google Plus button on your site's traffic. Data is available for search impact, activity, and audience. Optimization data. Sitemap lists details about any sitemap submitted for your site, including sitemaps submitted by others. Remove URLs lets you remove your URL from Google search results and lists the status of existing removal requests. HTML improvement page lists ways in which you can improve the HTML on your site. Content keywords list the most significant terms Google found on your site. It provides insight into how the content of your site is perceived. If data is missing or appears to be out of date. When you add your site to Search Console, it may take some time before diagnostic and other data is available. It is normal. It can take some time for Search Console to gather and process data for your site. If you're seeing no data on the site, example.com, it may be because you have added your site using HTTP, example.com. To Google, they are entirely different sites. If you feel like you're missing some data, add both the www and non-www versions of your domain to Search Console account. Take a look at the data for both sites. Do a site search for your domain without the www site googleexample.com. This should return pages from your domain and any other index subdomains. Example.com, rollgirl, example.com, etc. You should be able to tell from the result whether your site is mainly indexed with or without www subdomains. The version that indexes is likely to be the version that shows the most data in your Search Console account. You can tell us whether you prefer your site to be indexed with or without the www by setting your preferred domain. You can also let everyone know which version you prefer by doing a site-wide 301 redirect. For information about specifying the canonical version of your page. We're always working to increase the updated frequency for your verified sites, such as crawl, index, and search queries. Much of the data depends on the content of your site and in close proximation of the site status of your site. Our internal systems are always changing, and the web itself is an ever-shifting ecosystem. In addition, there may be a lag between when the numbers are calculated and when they are visible to webmasters. Although data gets published in intervals, we're continually collecting it. If your content doesn't change very often, or if you're not getting new links in your site, you may see updates to your data every time you sign in to Search Console. Search Console provides data based on site visits and links to your page. You need to get the word out about your website to get more people visiting and naturally linking to it. That is, of course, after you've built a website that people will want to visit and link to. The more links to your site on the web, the more likely that Google will stop by for a visit. Once Google starts crawling your site more often, you'll notice that Search Console is beginning to show more and more detailed data. And this data is updated more often. Oh. Why doesn't Search Console data match Google Analytics data? The data displayed in Search Console may be different from the data displayed in other tools, such as Google Analytics. Possible reasons include: we have not crawled your site, and since changes were last made, Search Console does some additional data processing. For example, eliminate duplicates and visits from robots. This may cause your stats to be different from stats listed in other sources. Some tools, such as Google Analytics, track traffic only from users have enabled JavaScript in their browsers. More usability. Mobile usability. Why mobile usability? Google search aims to deliver the most relevant and useful information people are seeking. For that reason, we want to ensure a meaningful after-click experience that helps people use information relative to their task. Because Google web traffic from mobile devices is on the rise, and recent studies show that mobile visitors are more likely to revisit mobile-friendly sites, mobile usability is now relevant for optimal search results. This means that search results for mobile users should lead to content that is usable in the following ways. A user-defined viewing area or viewpoint that adjusts to the device screen size. Content that flows to the viewpoint so that users don't have to scroll horizontally or pinch the screen in order to see the entire page. Fonts that scale for easier reading on small screens. Easy-to-touch elements, example buttons, that are well-spaced from other touch elements. Visual design and motion-driven mobile-friendly technology. Fix mobile usability issues for your pages. Under the search traffic section, the mobile usability report identifies those pages on your site suffering from severe usability problems and mobile visitors. You can use this report to diagnose and fix errors for specific pages and improve their search performance for relevance. For example, use the graph in the report to monitor their efforts in decreasing mobile usability issues for your site. The report also lists 6 primary mobile usability errors described below. You can click each error for a detailed report by URL. Each detailed report provides step-by-step instructions to help you verify and fix the error. Once you address the error, Google Systems reflects the corrections during the next regular crawl of your site. The majority of these mobile usability issues are addressed in our Web Fundamental Guide, which provides best practices for websites that perform well across many devices. Flash usage. Most mobile browsers do not render Flash-based content. Therefore, mobile users will not be able to use a page that relies on Flash in order to display content, animations, or navigation. Well recommended designing your look and feel and page animations using monitor web technologies. Read more about Look and Feel of Web Fundamentals Guide. Viewpoint not configured. Because visitors to your site use a variety of devices with varying screen sizes, from large desktop monitors to tables to smartphones, your pages should specify the viewpoint users the meta viewpoint tag. The tag tells browsers how to adjust the page dimension and scaling to suit the device. Learn more in Responsive Web Design Basics. Whew. Fixed width viewpoint. The report shows those pages with viewpoint set to fixed width. Some web developers define the viewpoint to a fixed pixel size in order to adjust non-responsive pages to suit common mobile screen size. To fix the error, adopt a responsive design to your site's page and set the viewpoint to match the device's width and scale accordingly. Read how to correctly cite the viewpoint on Web Fundamentals. Content, not size, to viewpoint. This report indicates pages where horizontal scrolling is necessary to see words and images on this page. This happens when pages use absolute values in CSS declarations or use images designed to look their best in a specific browser width. To fix this error, make sure pages use relative width and position values for CSS elements. To make sure images can scale as well, read more in Size, Content to Viewpoint. Small font size. This report identifies pages where the font size for the page is too small to be legible, would require mobile visitors to pinch and zoom in order to read. After specifying a viewpoint for your web page, set your font size to scale properly within the viewpoint. Read more about font size best practices in use legible font sizes. Touch elements too close. This report shows the URL for sites where touch elements such as buttons, navigation links are too close to each other that a mobile user cannot easily tap. Tap a design element with their finger without also tapping a neighboring element. To fix these errors, make sure to correctly size and space buttons, navigation links to be suitable for your mobile visitors. Read more in Size Tap Targets Approximately. Interstitial usage. Some websites have begun to advertise their mobile apps by opening an interstitial pop-up when users browse the site on a mobile device. This is a bad user experience since screen space on a mobile device is limited. In most cases, an interstitial obscures the page content, and often it can be difficult to dismiss. If you want to promote a mobile app on your website, consider using iOS smart banners, Chrome native app banners, or app indexing to show an install button. for your app directly in Google search results. Blocked resource report. Which parts of my pages are blocked by robots? Directives. Google needs to access to many resources in your page in order to render the page optimally. For example, JavaScript, CSS, an image file should be available to Googlebot so that it can see pages like an average user. If the site's robots.txt follow or disallows crawling, these resources can affect how well Google renders the indexes for the page, which can in effect the page ranking in Google search. How to open and blocked resource report. How to read the report. This report shows resources used by your site that are blocked by Googlebot. Not all resources are shown, only resources that might be under your control. The report landing page shows a list of hosts that provide resources on your site that are blocked by robots.txt rules. Some resources will be hosted on your own site. Some will be hosted on other sites. Click on any host in the table to see a list of blocked resources from your host, with a count of pages on your site affected by each blocked resource. Click on any blocked resource in the table for a list of your page that load the resource. Click on any page in the table hosting a blocked resource for instructions on how to unblock that resource, or else follow the instructions below under how to unblock resources. You can navigate backward up this path by clicking the appropriate link, breadcrumb path, that appears on the top of the page as you click deeper. Blocked resources, blocking host, blocked resource name. How to unblock your resources. To unblock your resources, open the blocked resource report and find a list of hosts of blocked resources on your site. Start with a host that you own, since you can directly update the robots.txt files. If needed, you might have control of all the hosts that we list, but change the ones that you can. Click a host on the report to see a list of blocked resources from that host. Go through the list and start with those that might affect the content and layout in a meaningful way. Less important resources such as tracking, pixels, or counters aren't worth bothering with. For each resource that affects layout, click to see a list of your pages that uses it. Click on any page in the list and follow the pop-up instruction for verifying any different updating. The blocking robot. Fetch and render your page after each change to verify that the resource is now appearing. Continue updating resources for a host until you've enabled Googlebot access to all the important blocked resources. Move to a host that you don't own, and if the resource have strong visual impact, either contact the webmaster of those sites to ask them to consider unblocking the resources to Googlebots, or consider removing your page dependency on that resource. Everything you need to know about Google Search Console by Kevin Vertomen 25. 20,000 comments. Share. On the first things you should do after launching a website is to create Google Search Console account. Why? Because it helps you understand how Google crawls, analyzes, and indexes your website. It's a great tool to help you discover problems which might hurt your ranking or user experience. In this article, we'll run through the process of using Search Console whilst highlighting all of the relevant features. In May of 2015, Google Search Console was known as Webmaster's Tools. It became apparent that Webmaster was outdated, hence the rebranding. Verify ownership. In order to use Google Search Console, you need to verify ownership of your your domain. There are several verification methods. HTML tag, sign into the domain provider, use Google Analytics, use Google Tag Manager account, upload an HTML file. Verify with more than one method will make your ownership more resilient. I'm also verifying the I also suggest verifying the www version of your website. This is a reader's note. This is Tom Doody, a reader's note. This the voice of this writer has changed. This is a collection of stuff from Google and various bloggers. So this writer is not Google. Continuing with the text, I also suggest varying the www and non-www versions of your website. Linking as many versions as possible guarantees that you'll see all the errors and problems. Once you've linked your website, Google will be able to crawl it and report back. Site appearance, as the name suggests, search appearance tells how your website is shown in the search results. Its appearance is influenced by a number of factors that can certainly have an influence on your click-through rate. Structured data. On this page, Google gathers all the structured data that was found. The graph shows the number of structured data elements and markup errors. Download the report to fix any problems. The report works well. The combination of structured data testing tool, identify pages with errors, puts them in testing tool, and use suggestions to solve any issues. Data highlighter. You want to use structured data, but don't have access to the back end. There's a solution, the data highlighter. This point-and-click tool is one of the easiest ways to implement structured data. Start with the URL of a typical page on your website and select the type of information and start highlighting. When you highlight an element, use the content menu to select a tag. All the highlighted information can be found on the right sidebar. If you make an error, hit the clear tag button. Information which isn't visible on the page can be entered manually. Use the gear icon and select Add Missing Tags. HTML improvements. HTML improvement page collects all errors relating to meta descriptions, titles, and non-indexable content. This report is mostly used to search for duplicate content, something frowned upon by Google. For more information about duplicate content, take a look at an earlier article. Site links. Site links used to help navigate a website. They're effectively shortcuts to deeper pages, which might be relevant for the user. For example, when I search for Amazon, I see site links to gift cards, to Amazon apps, bookstore, books, and Kindle ebooks. Site links for Amazon. If you think that a site link is inappropriate or incorrect, you can demote it. Select a page, enter URL that should be removed. Search traffic. Okay, now it's getting interesting. What to know when your visitors want to know where your visitors come from, which domain linked to your website, and what your internal link structure looks like. The search traffic section has the answers. Search analytics. Now, note, search analytics was previously known as search queries. This is one of the most popular reports in Google Search Console. It gives you insights into the organic traffic from Google. You can see popular queries, pages, countries, and devices. The various filters gives you a better understanding of your website's performance in Google search results. For example, see how many visitors used image search to visit your site. Compare the average CTR or desktop and mobile. Check the average position of search pages. Compare the number of visitors from country X with the same period last year. Links to your site. There are plenty of websites which analyze the link profile of a website, such as Ahrefs, Open Site Explorer, and Majestic SEO. These are premium tools and require a monthly fee to access their features. This link report in Google Search Counselor is great, free alternative. It shows the linking domains, anchor text, and most linked to pages. Download the complete table via the More button, useful for some Excel magic. Internal links. Both internal and external links can help your pages rank higher. Via the internal links report, you can identify the pages that receive the most internal links. Click on the URL from the full list. The manual action page is the worst nightmare of every SEO professional. Here you find more information about Google penalties which are currently in effect. For most people, this page will be blank, but if you happen to be penalized, you'll find the message on this page. There are several causes that can trigger a penalty, amongst which unnatural links to your site, hacked pages, thin content with little or no added value, cloaking or sneaky redirects. Discussing the steps that are needed to solve these problems are beyond the scope of this article, but there are plenty of articles that can help you. Once you're done, don't forget to file a reconsideration request. Internal targeting. Plenty of websites try to attract international visitors with tailored content. The HRE flag markup should be used to identify the language and geographical target of each page. If implemented correctly, the HRE flag tag can create some problems. For this reason, it is a good idea to check the Google Search Council International Targeting Report from time to time. The second tab, Country, is only available for generic domain extensions such as .com and .org. If you want to target users in a specific country, use this option. Country-specific domains such as .de and .es are automatically associated with this corresponding country. Mobile usability. Google recently announced, starting in April 2015, mobile-friendly design will be used as a ranking signal. You can imagine the mobile utility report has since become quite popular. If this page is empty, your website is optimized for mobile users. Errors are displayed in handy lists, together with an overview of the pages that are affected. Bad news for this website, clearly not mobile-friendly. Tip, use mobile-friendly test to check if page has a mobile-friendly design. Google Index. Under this section, you can see how many pages of your website have been added to Google's index and remove unwanted URLs. Index status. The index status shows the number of pages that are indexed. These are URLs that Googlebot can access. URLs which are blocked by the robot's t.txt file or required login are not displayed. The content keyword report shows the most important and frequently used keywords of your website. Interesting, but perhaps the most useful reports are available here. On this page, you'll find all pages that are blocked by robots, TXT rules. The robots TXT file can be used to prevent pages from being added to the Google's index. But what if a page is already in the index and you want to remove it as soon as possible? In this case, you should use the removed URL feature of Search Console. Don't forget that any site owners and users with full permission can request removals. First of all, you need to indicate that it's okay to remove the URL by blocking the page via the robot's meta tag or robot.txt file. Check whether the URL is correctly disallowed before submitting a removal request. As well as single URLs can be removed, can remove entire directories. The removal process for directories works pretty much the same way. Made an error? Don't worry, because you can cancel remove requests for any site of your own at any time. Crawl. As we mentioned earlier, before the pages can be indexed, your site needs to be crawled. All the information about this process can be found here. Crawl errors. The crawl error report should be checked regularly. It shows all the errors Googlebot encounters whilst crawling the page of your website. Response codes 404, 403 can be subdivided by devices. Desktop, mobile, or feature phone. Don't forget to mark fixed items to keep things organized. Crawl sites. This page shows the number of pages that have been crawled over the last 90 days, in addition to the time spent downloading, the download size in KBs. Ideally, you want to minimize the time spent downloading the download size whilst maximizing the pages crawled per day. If pages crawled per day decreases, but time spent downloading increases, Check the size of performance issues. Fetch as Google. Fetch as Google is a diagnostic tool that allows you to simulate how Google renders a certain page. What the difference between fetch and render? A simple fetch is a quick operation that you can use to check the response code via the fetch and render. Google crawls and displays the page as browsers would. Includes pictures, CSS, JavaScript, etc. Use this feature to detect differences between browser rendered and the way Google sees a page. Robots.txt tester. This tool is pretty self-explanatory. Use it to test new robots. Mark up and check for errors. All types of Google crawlers, Google bots, news, images, videos, mobile, media partners, AdBot are available. Robots tester, sitemaps. In the SEO Fundamentals series, we advise creating an XML sitemap. You can notify Google of the location of the sitemap via Google Search Console. Use the button in the top right corner and add or edit a sitemap. Enter the URL. Afterward, you can use the difference between the number of submitted and indexed pages. Sitemap errors can also be found on this page. URL parameters. Google tries its best to understand the URL parameters. For most of the time, this is very good at doing so, but occasionally it needs some help understanding certain parameters. When this is the case, add parameters case sensitive and indicate if a change in the page is seen by the user. For tracking parameters, you can select no. For parameters that reorder products, for example, you can select yes. Add parameters, security issues. If your site owner and you don't see one of these messages, it is likely that your site has been hacked. To find out more, go to Google Search Console and check Security Issues page. You'll find more information about this type of problem and solutions known to fix it. Extra settings. This is arguably one of the most important features of Google Search Console, and it's somewhat hidden behind an icon in the upper right-hand corner. Site settings. Here you can see preferred domain. You can choose between www and non-www version. How to do this? You may need to verify ownership of both domains. Why is it useful? You can use website.com to preferred domain, and Google finds a link to www.website.com. It will treat both URLs the same. If you use, you can adjust the crawl rate. By default, Google tries to crawl as many pages as possible without overwhelming your server's bandwidth. However, it's possible to change the crawl rate via Google Search Console. The next custom crawl rate will be valid for 90 days. Advertisement. Change of address. Moving primary. Website to a new domain. Don't forget to use the change of address feature, which helps Google update its index. Google rebranded its Webmaster Tools to reflect the changing landscape of website professionals. The tools available under the newly named Search Console are simple, extremely useful. when setting up a website you've recently launched. Even once a website has become well established on the web, use Search Console to optimize its search appearance. Are you on Google? Inclusion of Google's search results is free and easy. You don't even need to submit your site to Google. Google is a fully automated search engine that uses software known as web crawlers that explore the web on a regular basis and find sites, adds them to our index. In fact, the vast majority of sites listed on our results aren't manually submitted for inclusion, but found and added automatically when our spider crawls the web. Is my site on Google? To determine whether your site is currently indexed on Google, do a site search for your URL. For example, site:wikipedia.org. Returns the results. My site isn't on Google. Although Google crawls billions of pages, it's inevitable that some sites are missed. When our spiders miss a site, it's frequently for one of the following reasons. The site isn't well connected from other sites on the web. You've launched a new site and Google hasn't had time to crawl it yet. The design of the site makes it difficult for Google to crawl its content effectively. Google receives an error when trying to crawl your site. How do I get my site or app on Google? Well, often guidelines for building a crawler-friendly site. While there's no guarantee that our site crawler will find a particular site, following these guidelines should make your site appear in our search results. Google Search Console provides tools to help you submit your content to Google and how to Google search. If you want Google Search Console, you can even send alerts on critical issues that Google encounters with your site. Asking Google to recrawl. If you've recently made changes to a URL, listeners, Tom Doody, I am taking a break. This is too long. I know some text is duplicate, so I thought I could cut it out, but I'm unable to find what I pasted twice. It's been Tom Doody, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you would type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Doody in a Google search for my site. Thank you for listening. Have a good day, good evening, or restful night's sleep. Ciao.